Hello. So this is my dog, Dusty. You've never met Dusty. I watched through some of the old videos that I'd done last night whilst doing the ironing, which is very self-aggrandising and arrogant of me. And I was reminded of my beautiful cat Gaia, who sadly has passed away. But this is Dusty. She's our pet. Say hello, Dusty. Thank you very much, Dusty. So the reason I've introduced you to Dusty is because it's highly appropriate that I have a dog in this video, because we've just had an amazing, and by amazing I mean not particularly good, sequence in which K9 fights a robotic parrot and of course wins. And although in my mind this should be an absolutely phenomenal piece of television, robot parrot versus robot dog, in actual fact it falls a bit flat. And I think that pretty much sums up this story, to be honest, because it is so rammed full of big, interesting ideas. There's almost too much going on, and yet so often it's missing the mark. Thank you, Dusty. It's missing the mark somewhat. Now, that's frustrating because there's a brilliant story here, but it's almost too big for Doctor Who to do, I think. I also think that there's a trend developing. Having watched some of the old videos, because I am that arrogant and boring, I seem to recall, well, I've been reminded, that a number of trends were cropping up. Just sort of like some bad stories were creeping in, which this isn't. This isn't a bad story. It's not, certainly not to the level of something like Invisible Enemy or something like that. But I fear that the interplay between the Doctor and Romana, though not quite in the same manner as the Doctor and Leela, Tom's not quite given enough to Mary Tam. And I don't think it's Mary Tam's fault. And I don't think it's a bad performance. And I'm enjoying it. There's moments like at the start of this episode where they're in the Mentiad hideout and they're having a conversation. That's okay, but it doesn't zing. It doesn't pop like you want it to. The other thing that dawned on me watching today is, why has the production team not just really doubled down on the pirate aspect of it? I really feel sorry for whichever the actor is who's playing the captain, because to do a really expressive performance is tricky because of the costume. Half his face is covered up most of the time anyway. When he turns away from the camera, you just can't see him. It's most bizarre. And I think what they could have done is really just double down on the pirate thing, made everything really... Because that almost is shorthand then. We know pirates. And it's, I can appreciate how that may have been a mistake, okay, because I don't make television programmes and all things like that, but I just feel this programme needs some shortcuts to understanding almost, so that you don't get bogged down in actually working out what's going on half the time, which is not stupidly complicated. It's Doctor Who, we can cope with it, but it's called Pirate Planet. Just give us some proper full-on pirates, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I just feel it's a shame. I want this first Douglas Adams story to be top-notch amazing, and it's not quite there. Having said that, the bit with the Doctor and the Captain where the Doctor is basically trying to elicit what the Captain's plan is when they're surrounded by the shrunken, really condensed planets is brilliant. That's proper Tom. Like, he's so cross. And the pirate is actually giving something back then. Sorry, the Captain is actually giving something back then, but it's a pity. It's a pity. But I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's fine. It's not... I mean... Average Tom hasn't really been a thing, but I think this is... Average is cruel. It's better than average. It's too interesting to be average, but it's leaning in towards it. Anyway, Dusty, say goodnight. Dusty? There we go. Good times. Cheerio.